guys, what's up and welcome back. So today I have for you another Jane and John Doe case. Also, if you're new here, hey, I'm Liz. This is Creating Crime Time, where I'm your host and I sit down, I talk about a true crime case, and most of the time I create something at the same time. So if you're interested and you want to continue to stick around, and if you love true crime, you love art, hit that red subscribe button, turn your bell notification on to all, and let's get into today's true crime case. So today we're talking about the Dorado Jane Doe. This case is like, if you liked my Carl Panzram case, you're gonna like this case because this woman has a lot of aliases. Yeah, so I don't even know where to start with this. So, okay, I'll give you age ranges and like the day she died and talk about her cause of death and all that jazz. Because, I mean, this is like, when I say this is all over the place, this is all over the place. Because we'll get into somebody that okay. So, her estimated date of birth is anywhere between 1960 to 1973. And she died on the 10th of July of 1991, and her ages range between 18 to 30. So her cause of death is homicide by broken neck and shot after death. Yeah. So this one is a little bit different. This is actually a solved true crime case, but she's unidentified. Yeah. So her aliases, she went by Mercedes, Cheryl Ann Wick, Kelly Lee Carr, spelled C-A-R-R and K-A-R-R. She also went by Shannon Wiley or Sharon Wiley and Cheryl Kaufman. So, and there's also arrests that are associated with these names. One for prostitution under the name Cheryl Ann Wick, and that is in December of 1990 on the 31st, and that is at the La Casita Motel in Dallas, Texas. There is another arrest under that name for prostitution as well on the 26th of January of 1991, and that happened in Dallas. It didn't give like where she was arrested, just stated Dallas. So 8th of February 1991, she is arrested for public lewdness at the Carousel Motel in Garland, Texas, under the name alias of Cheryl Ann Wick. And then May 1991, she would be arrested under the same name for writing bad checks and check fraud in El Dorado, Arkansas. So it is known that she worked at KFC while in Dallas, Texas. She also worked as a topless dancer in Little Rock, and she also lived with a family in Irving, Texas. So there's a lot known about what she did, but we still don't know who she is. Like, we have pictures of her, like her face and who she dated, but we still don't know exactly who she is. There's no like definitive identity that's related to her other than her aliases. So, the man who killed her, his name is James McAlphin. So she met him in Dallas and they became involved very quickly. So she also was known to have been in dire circumstances where she was injured by him. And she would end up in the emergency room quite often because of him. So in June of 1991, she left him. And she would move in with a friend. And this friend, her name is Andrea Cooksey. And this is when she was going by Mercedes. So James would continue to contact her over and over and over again. He wouldn't let her go. And he would often leave her threatening messages. So on the 10th of July, he coerced her into coming to his room at the Whitehall Motel, and he offered money for sexual favors, basically. That's how he got her to come. So a neighbor at the motel, his name is Ray Charles Menon, he witnessed part of an interaction with them. Basically, what had happened is he went to the room and asked for tapes back that James had borrowed. So he went there, and Mercedes answered the door, and Mercedes told Roy that he needs to talk to James, and she attempted to flee the room. And so James stopped her. Like, she managed to get to the parking lot. James stopped her and he hit her. And he would yell at her to get back in the room. And basically he yelled, "Get back in the room, bitch." And he dragged her back. And then this is when the neighbor Roy left. Because, I mean, they're fighting. He's just like, there. Do you really want to stay there while watching a couple physically abuse each other? Like, so he left. They went in their room. So Ray would hear them argue back and forth, and then he heard a gunshot. So this gunshot is what ended the dispute, and after that, that's when James fled the scene. So James eventually would be found, and he would be charged with first-degree murder and second-degree battery. So he denied murdering her, and he claimed that she killed herself in a suicide attempt, and he only hit her. He was severely uncooperative with police when it came to just helping them with figuring out who she was, and police took everything he had that possessed her, like, identification. So in all these possessions, they found a social security card and an identification card, and this had an ID of Cheryl Ann Wick on it. Well, they traced the Wick family to Minneapolis, and they contacted the family. But the police were quick to be put in touch with the real Cheryl Ann Wick, who had her identity stolen. Now, she had her identity stolen while she was a dancer at a place called Party Time, and she had no idea who this Mercedes was that they were talking about. She literally had no idea, and police were completely dumbfounded. So there have been developments in this case, and one was in 2019, and due to autosomal DNA, a second cousin of hers was discovered, and this was on the GED match database. This second cousin was discovered in Alabama. Well, this cousin doesn't know who she is, but they did state that she resembles a lot of the family. So, still to this day, we don't know who she is. But they have found family. So that's a positive when it comes to this case. So, that, my friends, is the really strange case of the Dorado Jane Doe. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I know this was a quick one, but again, this is a solved true crime case. She's just still unidentified, so that's why she still remains the Dorado Jane Doe. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys.